I guess the first time they said no or something.
I saw that movie last week.
Hello?
We're live, he said.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, I can hear
They
now.
say we're live.
You got to put your voice down there.
Put my voice down. I'm your partner.
Welcome to Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max from beautiful downtown Robbinsville, New Jersey, at Hamilton Studios, Hamilton Radio. My name is Tom Mongelli.
His name is Tom Mongelli.
He even messes up the introduction. Can you even wait 5 minutes into the show?
I don't even know if we've begun, as usual.
We've probably
They say we've begun. They say we've begun, and I don't see us.
So anyway, that's Doug Max. I'm Tom
I'm
Mongelli,
Doug
and our
Max.
in-studio guest right now is Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions.
If you want a comedy show, a spectacular comedy show, a fundraiser, you write to Jack at jack@jirwinproductions.com. If we find out you didn't write to him and you get a comedy show, we're going to find you and send you chocolates to make you feel horribly guilty.
And tell them jokes, I guess. Okay.
To make them feel even worse.
It's great to be here. It's great to be here, and we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, we do. Do you want to impart some wisdom on us on what J. Irwin?
I'm kicking it off right here, huh? Okay. Well, J. Irwin's been pretty busy lately, and that's a good thing. We've got this Thursday night at the 76 House. This is our 14th show at 76 House.
Wow.
And we've got the great Robin Fox headlining. She's the national winner of Ladies of Laughter. And we have Paul Goldenberg, who's been appearing at comedy clubs and casinos all over the East Coast. And we've got the homeboy there, George Saltz. George Saltz is an 85-year-old retired clinical psychologist and was named New York City's funniest Jewish comic 2 years ago. I don't know what happened last year. I guess he fell into second place or something. But it's going to be a great show. That's Thursday night. And
where is this 76 House?
The 76 House is in beautiful downtown Tappan, New York.
Tappan,
New York is right over the New Jersey
It's
border.
not Tappan?
No, it's
Tappan.
Tappan.
Like the Tappan Z?
Tappan. Old
Tappan.
Tappan and Tappan.
Tappan.
And what are some distinctions on this? It's an old restaurant.
The 76 House is New York State's oldest continually operating restaurant. It started out as a like a general store and the only thing in town basically 360 years ago.
My goodness, that's older than you.
Even it's even older than George. And its claim to fame is that Major Andre from the American Revolution was imprisoned at what is the building that is now the 76 House, and was actually hanged out back.
Wow.
So
A way to bring up the room.
there you go.
Oh, that brought the ghost, the rumors of ghosts.
And the place
Have
is,
you had any apparitions while you were? Had you noticed?
I haven't, but the place is supposedly haunted, and the ghost hunters. Ghostbusters weren't there.
No.
The ghost hunters were actually there and have done a couple shows. And there's certain tables in the room where they feel that the ghost hangs out, I guess, or
Really?
does its thing. Yeah.
Maybe he likes comedy.
Oh, you know what? The table needs a matchbook under one of the legs, is what it is.
That's it. It's just a wobbly table.
Right.
So that's this week. That's Thursday night.
Okay.
And all anyone has to do is go to jirwinproductions.com, either the website or the Facebook page. And the link is there to get tickets.
By the way, I love that place. I would be going myself, except our office party, Christmas party, is going to be Thursday.
Oh.
I'd recommend
Is it in a storage unit? By
Yeah.
the way.
I recommend the Yankee pot roast. It's the closest thing you're going to get to my brisket, people. And unless you know me well, you're not getting my brisket.
76 House has dynamite lamb chops and a great shrimp risotto, too. A lot of good food there. Great chef.
Yeah.
The chef was actually on one of the Food Channel shows, I think Chopped.
Oh, really?
About 6 months ago.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yeah. But that's only the beginning of what I want to talk about.
But wait, there's more.
There's more?
Next week,
Yes.
If you order now.
where all the excitement is, okay, is the brand new Black Box Performing Arts Center that opened over the summer
Uh-huh.
right on East Palisade Avenue,
Uh-huh.
near the famous Baumgart's Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
And we've got Uncle Floyd,
Uncle Floyd.
and we're extra lucky. Not only do we have a legend, Uncle Floyd, but we're extra lucky because we have this guy, Tom Mongelli, opening for him.
No.
Oh, man.
He
This
was
is-
like the fourth or fifth or sixth biggest thing in comedy.
Oh, definitely. And that's a week from Thursday, December 19th. And tickets...
And that's in Englewood.
That's Englewood, New Jersey. A lot of great restaurants there on
Really?
Palisade Avenue that you could go to first for dinner and then come to the show afterwards. Tickets for that are available at blackboxpac.com/Floyd.
Nice. Now, they're also having a question and answer session after the show with Floyd.
We've got Paul Felice, who hosts a radio show on WFDU
Uh-huh.
FM, and he's going to be doing a Q&A, and everyone who comes to the show will be given a 3x5 card they can write a question on, and then the Q&A will happen after the show.
Right.
Speaking of WFDU, Uncle Floyd, why don't you talk about it, Tom? You're very familiar
Well,
with it.
it happens to be the station that Uncle Floyd does his, what is it, garage sale music on Saturday mornings? Is that it?
That's it. Yes, garage music.
Yes. And he happens to film from there as well.
Yep. So that's what's coming up this Thursday, next Thursday. But we're not done yet.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, Jay Irwin is busy. New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve at the Black Box. This Black Box, there's so much excitement on Palisade Avenue about what this theater is bringing to the avenue.
Really?
Okay? And we've got 3 headliners for New Year's Eve.
No.
Okay? And doors will open at 9 o'clock. The show begins at 9:30. They're going to have some appetizers and small bites for people to enjoy before the show. And then when the show is over, they're going to have a toast, a champagne toast for everybody that's there at midnight. But the 3 headliners we have, we have Chip Ambrosio, who's been teaching comedy, doing comedy, and writing for Friars Roasts and what have you for 20-something years.
Wow.
We have John McClellan, the winner of the Seattle Comedy Festival.
Nice.
Okay, he's in
Very
town.
funny.
Yep, very funny guy. And very lucky to have Sandy Eller.
You are very lucky.
Sandy is one of the most naturally funny people out there anywhere.
And she's from my hometown, Hoboken.
And she
Hoboken.
was a former guest on Funny Talk.
Okay, she's been here.
I think she was probably our funniest Funny Talk guest.
And she's scheduled again for the new year. I think
That's great.
February.
So tickets for that are at blackboxpac.com/New Year's 2020.
Nice.
So we've got a lot of stuff going on for J. Irwin Productions.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. And
Thanks,
we
guys.
appreciate your sponsoring us with Funny Talk, your radio alternative to entertainment.
Funny,
I like that.
funny,
No.
funny since a week from next Tuesday.
There you go. That too. Anyway, so our show tonight is dedicated to a comic I know we all love, and we have Jack to talk about it. Perhaps we will have other people calling in about it. We have some of his biggest fans in studio to talk about how wonderful Uncle Floyd is. I'm just going to kick off the road and saying when I moved back from St. Louis in I guess it was 89, and was browsing, all by myself. I didn't know anybody. My parents were here, but, I was living by myself. And I would browse through the cable channels, and I came across Uncle Floyd. And I don't know what compelled me to keep on watching, but I couldn't stop. And it wasn't like it was a traffic accident exactly, but I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And I didn't know when he was, but every time I'd be flipping through and happened to see him, and I just thought, Wow, this is like the promised land.
I liken finding his show like I remember when I first started watching SpongeBob SquarePants. It was so bad, but I couldn't stop watching it.
That's what I think people tell us about our show too, Tom.
I think so. Yeah.
I remember, I mean, Uncle Floyd was a phenomenon when the whole world was only watching channels 2 through 13.
Right.
But when I was, I guess, a teenager back in the 70s, you would catch Uncle Floyd on one of those UHF 64 or
Right.
48s. I
Uh-huh.
think 64 was the channel. And you'd have to tune the TV and then tune your little cable box just so perfectly to get that channel.
Yep.
And once you were watching Uncle Floyd, you were hooked.
Uh-huh.
And I remember also thinking, sort of like with Soupy Sales, thinking like this: do these people know what he's saying? Because I remember thinking he was a little inappropriate even in his songs way back when.
Well,
But it was cable.
he always danced the line, I think.
Yeah.
He claims he had gotten into trouble more than once.
Well, that's where they
But
say a lot of the,
It's double entendres, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if a kid is listening, it's a funny song.
Yeah.
What's the name of it? He's got his whole song about with the different euphemisms for the male body part.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
I think
Well, there's
that-
only one male body part, but
Okay. Well,
Anyway, Doc, is there a reason why we're having such reverb? Doc, are you awake? Earth to Doc. Earth to
I
Doc.
am here. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. I'm working on it. I don't know
Okay.
why. It might be because the neighbor next to you over there has got
Oh.
too many mics on, and he might have the headphones right on the microphones. Just take the
headphones and just put 'em on
headphones
the
off the
table, at
microphones.
All right, we'll see if that
Put 'em
helps.
on.
we'll see if we can get better neighbors.
Won't you be my neighbor?
There you go. Now did I go away?
I think that's better.
There you go.
Okay.
So anyway, Uncle Floyd his real name is Floyd Vivino, and he grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, where I used to teach.
My wife is from Patterson too. A lot
Ah.
of great people.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest comic that we know of from movies and burlesque and vaudeville? Who else do we know comes from Patterson, New Jersey?
The
Big,
late
somebody
great Lou
big.
Costello.
Definitely.
Lou Costello was
Was he
born.
with Abbott and Costello? Was he that Costello?
Do
So-
we ignore that?
So this is my co-host Doug.
Comedy expert.
Please pray for me. Yes, Lou Costello of Abbott and Costello fame,
See?
as opposed to all the other Lou Costellos. Actually, his grandson is Lou Costello, is it? No.
There. See?
No, it's Lou
See?
Costello.
And you're all over me.
I know. So
And-
anyway,
And
I
our
used
friend Lou Pacelli just guessed Lou Costello. So Lou knew Lou.
Good guess, Lou. You win.
you won absolutely nothing.
Email us your private address to funnytalkmm@gmail.com, and we will send you a Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max M&M in your choice of blue or white.
So
That's,
anyway,
for Lou Pacelli.
Pacelli.
Shelley, you know, Lou, I believe that I know your ex-sister-in-law, Donna Pacelli de Don. Anyway, write in if I'm correct. She was from Patterson as well.
Yes.
Well, he says
Lou's a
Patterson
hometown
is
guy.
his hometown, LOL. So I guess that says something about. What did you used to say about Patterson, where mother is?
Mother is just half a word. Yes.
The American comedy.
See, I used to teach in Patterson, which was an Abbott school district. So in a way, it's an Abbott and Costello
I'll
district.
tell you,
Oh,
that's a
stop.
perfect mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't encourage that.
Oh, that's a fact.
Did you call me fat?
So
I should
we've
call-
established so far on our show dedicated to Uncle Floyd, we've established already.
That his
That he
name is
comes
Floyd
from Patterson.
and his name is Floyd Vivino.
Okay, so we've established two key facts. Any other facts you'd like to share with us
Well,
about?
Uncle Floyd, if you recall, did a show on cable TV like we were talking about called The Uncle Floyd Show. And he had a huge cult following at the time. It was the 70s and 80s. And he actually had, as a fan, John Lennon, the one and only John Lennon, who used to watch the show religiously, and he actually turned David Bowie on to Uncle Floyd, who started watching the show as well.
And you
And-
know, this was the anniversary of Lennon was shot.
Murdered this week, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yesterday or the day
yesterday was
before?
the day.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was how many? 20 years ago? It was an incredibly long time ago, but it seems like yesterday.
Is it
'cause
like
I remember.
39 years ago or
Yeah,
something, right?
it's longer. But anyway, David Bowie later wrote a song
That's
about
20 years in Doug years. Yeah.
in Doug years. Yeah, David Bowie wrote a song about Uncle Floyd,
Yep, called Slip Away.
"Slip Away." So
Wow.
Google "Slip Away" by
David Bowie.
David Bowie.
Yep. Yep.
And he did the Uncle Floyd show, and he also was in the movie Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams.
Yep.
Right?
And in fact, one of the things Floyd told me is that Robin Williams told Floyd that if he ever needed to cast his older brother in a movie, he'd want Floyd to be the older brother.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And if you look at pictures of Robin Williams and Floyd next to each other, they kind of look similar. Not exactly alike, but they have similar features. But anyway, I digress. And he was in another movie, which I don't know if you saw, Crazy People. Funny movie. And he played a crazy person.
Who do you know who else is in Crazy People?
I don't know names. I know faces. A lot of people that you would recognize, but who? Oh, Daryl Hannah was in it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I was thinking of the crazy people, not the.
Not the crazy people.
Not that
those
crazy person.
So Lou Pacelli also tells us,
Yes.
for those of you who want to stalk Uncle Floyd, he will hang in the bagel shop on Union Avenue in Totowa. So,
That's Brooklyn Bagels.
and I'll just say, if I was Uncle Floyd, I would not want you coming to see me at the bagel shop
Can
on
I
Union
can I
Avenue.
say something about Uncle Floyd and bagels? Uncle Floyd.
Is it going to be an anti-Semitic comment?
No, but I can certainly
You can
turn it
work
into
on
one.
it. Work on it,
I
Tom.
can work on it. But Uncle Floyd is the one who got me into stand-up comedy. And we used to hang out at a different bagel shop in Totowa. And he heard some of my one-liners. And
Do you
he was
remember the first laugh you got from him?
Yes. And he was performing at a
That's good.
restaurant in North Halden called Colucci's at the time.
I remember.
Every Tuesday night. And he says, why don't you come down to Colucci's? In his act, he used to play the piano and do some shtick. And he used to bring people up from the audience. Like there was the singing bus driver and the old guy with the banjo and Count
Werner von Helmstedt.
Werner von Helmstetter, the Bavarian baritone, and he used to bring me up every Tuesday. I used to
Dr.
go and he used to
Bombay.
bring me up to do stand-up, and that's how I started.
That was your first gigs?
That was my first gigs.
That is
Dr.
remarkable.
Bombay.
Yeah, and I performed as Dr. Bombay at the time. That was my stage name.
And my third show was at Colucci's, I think, one of my very early shows.
Yes.
And Tom introduced me as...
Probably the strangest man you'll ever meet.
No, you introduced me as the strangest man you'd ever met.
Oh, I
I guess
never met.
it's just as
Yeah,
bad.
but some things never change. Right?
But it was like I was very early on in comedy. I wasn't prepared for a, like, you know, I'm like, they're like, you know, what are your credits? I'm like, what? What? I fed my dad this morning. Does that count? And Tom brings me up as that, so I immediately had to deal with that. And then a minute later, I think I'm talking about existentialism with the kid that was in the audience studying philosophy. He just graduated with a degree in philosophy, so I had to deal with that nightmare of a career choice.
Woody Allen couldn't make that funny. How do you think you would do it?
Hey,
Last time I asked you about your credits, you told me your FICO score.
yeah, it's better than, you know, it's better than I expected. I could borrow a lot of money if I wanted to. It's tempting.
So anyway, Uncle Floyd, in addition to being a stage actor and actor
Film.
on screen, he had his own newspaper column in an Italian newspaper produced out of Newark
Called
called, I forget the
Is
name,
that the
Column
Italian
name?
Tribune?
Italian Tribune.
Viva
And for the
Vivino.
for the longest time, he had a column there, and he also marched in the Columbus Day Parade in Newark every year. Did you know that?
Doesn't he have family also in show business or what have you?
All his family his parents were in show business. His two brothers are musicians,
Jerry and Jimmy.
Jerry and Jimmy Vivino,
Conan
who was
O'Brien.
on the Conan O'Brien show, and Jimmy, I think it was the band leader
I believe so.
on the
Who
show.
are you talking to, Tom?
Nobody. The voice is in my head.
Oh, okay.
And so he had and he's got a radio show. He used to have another radio show. He's done burlesque. He's done movies, TV. He was on an episode of what was the show?
So does he wear the same poorly matched outfit, or does he have different poorly matched outfits?
He'll either wear that. Well, he's got a couple of versions of it, but he'll either wear that or a tuxedo.
Huh.
But
So
he's
New Year's
well
Eve,
known
the
for
tuxedo.
that plaid jacket
Yeah.
with like a gingham hat,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You know, like if I was dating and I wore that outfit, I don't think I'd be very successful. It works
Probably
great
not.
for what he's doing, you know, but
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Awkward
I
silence.
saw, but wait a minute. Didn't you show me his picture on Match.com and he is wearing that outfit?
I always struggled with with women online, whether I should send them a video of my doing stand-up. And I finally realized, you know, at one point or another,
Can't
they're
be
going to
any
have to
worse
deal
than
with
what
it.
you've
Yeah,
had.
in real life. Yeah. So they at least get to see my moves. And I would always tell them to watch it, but turn the sound off.
Now, those of you watching on Facebook probably notice a new character at the table. I'd like to introduce him.
Hello.
Hi, can you tell us your name?
Iggy.
Yeah, this is Iggy. Iggy Aronson of Iggy's Curiosity Shop.
And you can tell from his voice he's going through puppet puberty.
Yes.
Puppet puberties.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Is this one on? Oh, no, my mouth didn't move.
All right.
So Iggy is like, you're 50 years old, aren't you, Iggy?
51, like you,
And in
Doug.
puppet years, that's 13. That's
That's
why he
right.
sounds like
Oh,
that.
it's time for a bar mitzvah.
Oy vey, oy vey, oy vey.
But he looks like the puppet that was on
The
Uncle,
Uncle Floyd show.
That was Oogie.
That
He's
was
he's
Oogie.
related to
And this is
Oogie.
Iggy.
How is
Oogie's my cousin.
How are they related? Are they?
They're cousins.
They're related by wood.
And now
Is that like
this
Patty
is
Duke?
another. Who's Iggy's friend?
This is Squeegee, but
And
he looks
Squeegee-
just like Oogie.
He looks just like Oogie.
And he doesn't want to talk, so he's going to mimic me now. Great.
How come you're both talking at the same time? Are
He's
you?
making fun of me.
Oh, look at that.
They're speaking in harmony.
In harmony.
Yes.
That's not nice. He's
Not
doing
e-
it again.
Ebony and pine.
What?
That's rotten.
It's
So-
ebony and pine.
I want
that's
to.
wood.
Ivory
Squeegee's
isn't a
going to
wood.
sit with Tom.
So, am I gonna? Okay.
Squeegee wants to sit with Tom and say bad
Tom's
things
going to
about
learn
Doug.
right now how to be a proctologist.
Tom, don't hold it there. What's wrong with you?
Don't look at the camera,
Oh
Squeegee.
my God. Oh my! How long have I known you?
Hi, Squeegee. Now I know why they call you Squeegee. Ooh, I need a paper towel. Does anybody have a napkin?
That's not nice, Tom.
I don't want to
Was
tell you.
Squeegee getting excited with you holding him like that? Hi, Squeegee.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, what are you up to?
About 2 feet.
Yeah, I don't even think that. I think you're 17, 16 inches tops.
So, do you ever get morning wood? I'm sorry.
Do you want me to answer for him?
I think
Stop
so.
it! We're family friendly.
I'm not doing anything like that.
Okay, Iggy, have you ever seen Uncle Floyd perform?
Very many times.
Yeah, and what do you think of Uncle
He's
Floyd?
great. He's a lot of fun.
Where have you seen Uncle Floyd?
I don't want to name the names of the places because they might not want to be named here, like Scotty's Comedy Cove.
Oh, Uncle Floyd has appeared at
The
Scotty's?
place that never books me anymore.
That's
because
the
I'm-
place, 'cause he's very funny and they don't like to book funny people there.
In fact, I'm opening for Floyd Friday and Saturday of next week at Scotty's Comedy
Yeah, they'll
Club.
book you.
Wow.
I have it on some very good authority, Doug Max, that if you go to an open mic again and do a shtick, you'll impress the people there and wow them to death, and they're gonna book
open
you
mic.
again.
Open
I
mic.
know, it's an insult for a comedian of your status, but that's, I think,
Yeah, thanks
the
for not
best
saying
bet.
stature, because I know where that would go.
Well, can't help it if you're only as tall as you
Can you
are.
have stature if you're like 5, 6.5 when it's humid?
You are
you
5'6.5",
On a humid
but that's
day.
your IQ.
Now, you're not referring to little people, are you?
Doug Max is king
Oh,
of
do
the
you
little
want me
people.
to have referred to little people?
No.
We were talking puppets before.
Oh.
We were up to, I think, 17 or
Squeegee,
18 inches, so.
squeegee.
So now, Oogie, you also used to go to.
Iggy, I'm Iggy.
Oh, Iggy. I'm sorry. Sorry, Squeegee.
He's crazy.
I always confuse them.
Mongelli.
I think he said he's itchy.
I'm trying to scratch, but didn't you also go to see Uncle Floyd at Colucci's?
Colucci's, a lot of times. Every time it was a Wednesday, we'd go there.
Where's Colucci's?
That's gone now.
No, that was Tuesdays,
That was
wasn't it?
Tuesdays, I mean.
Yeah.
That was Tuesday.
And
that
Doug
was,
went on Wednesdays.
That was great. Yeah, no one was there. Poor Doug. And then on Wednesdays, it was Rivera's in Fairlawn.
right.
And that place took a dive. And
Can I just
now,
interrupt quickly to say we want to
Go
wish a friend of the show has a easy time passing his kidney stone.
oh, that's rough.
Ooh,
Bill had a
I don't wanna
kidney
say his
stone
name.
once.
okay.
It was no fun.
But our thoughts are with you. You try ultrasound, by the way. You can knock up a kidney stone. You can break up a kidney stone with ultrasound.
I did that. Yes, it worked. I haven't had one since.
Wow.
And if that doesn't work again, for those of you who are regular listeners know I do offer minor surgery for $129.
I had some done from Doug, and it was very
Tom?
good.
Tom, I think, has a place to go for the surgery.
Well, I opened up a discount surgical center called Suit Yourself.
There you go. Suit yourself.
Right. We accept most insurances.
Okay, so Tom, you've performed with Uncle Floyd a number of times. I've performed with him sort of one time
Uh-huh.
at Iggy's Humans birthday party,
Oh, okay. That would
where
be
I made a horrible.
I
comedy
remember
mistake.
that comment. Woo!
What happened?
My grandmother is very upset with you still, and that was 5 years ago. You said that
It was a mistake.
you advised her grandchildren to go have
I asked.
relations.
They were like 17, 18. I thought they were a mature couple, and I said, "Are the two of you?"
Gonna go bump uglies,
Yeah.
and my
he said, "That's my
Kelly
sister."
said,
And I probably said,
"No,
"Oh, so I guess
that
you're
we're
not
brother
sleeping
and
with her."
sister. We don't bump uglies together."
that's Doug's attempt at crowd work.
Well, listen, I want you to know I did crowd work again
Uh-huh.
last week, and I had like 30 seconds of great crowd work. So
30 whole seconds?
I want to
and
get
then they
back to
chased
it.
him out.
You know what I did that was really funny, Iggy?
It's the crowd that chased him out. You're right.
Right, it worked. What
Things
did you
weren't
do?
going that well. But then
Sorry.
But then I said that when I came into the room, I knew my comedy, so I was worried about my risks in the audience. So I like noticed this one guy who was like 6.5 feet tall, 400 pounds. I'm like, this guy I do not want to piss off. And then he did something that made me instantly warm up to him.
What did he do?
What?
He put on chapstick.
Wow.
And so this was a group of his peers in the organization. So everybody cracked up and loved that.
Was it Tom
Was this
Mongelli?
part of your crowd work?
This was the crowd work. This was it. This was the crowd work that worked.
Is that why you got that group insurance policy in case a group
And that
kills
was it. That was it. They promised to laugh for
Tom.
only.
Yes.
Is Iggy
Oogie.
allowed to mention that Uncle Floyd is at the Maywood Inn in Maywood, also known as the Twin Door Tavern, on Wednesdays?
Absolutely. Wednesdays?
All right, I won't mention it then.
Okay.
In Maywood.
Let's remind folks, though, about who sponsors the show.
Oh,
Uncle Floyd will be
Yeah.
at the Black Box,
Yeah,
Englewood, New Jersey,
Yep.
a week from Thursday, the 19th.
that's right.
And then he goes to the Maywood Inn also.
And for those of you who don't care for Uncle Floyd, you'll love Tom Mongelli, who's getting a much smaller part than he deserves in this show, but
He's one of the
he'll be
biggest
opening
things
for
in
a great thing.
comedy
He's a
That's
huge
right.
thing
today.
in
I'm
comedy.
the 14th biggest thing in comedy.
Today.
And
So David Bowie's song, to some extent, alluded to Uncle Floyd not being as well known like David Bowie. You know, not many people get to be that. But he's like so
Did
famous
David
around
Bowie
here.
ever make it?
yeah, he's still trying.
Not anymore.
Not yet,
From
no.
the grave.
Now, Uncle Floyd, on the Uncle Floyd show, had a lot of rock and roll people on the show, and he actually helped catapult the Ramones.
The Ramones, I remember.
Gabba
Yes.
gabba hey.
He had them on a lot anyway.
I've always wondered,
What?
did any of the Ramones have the last name Ramone?
Negative.
I don't know.
I think they all made up that last name.
Is that true?
I really believe that,
That
right?
was made up name.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's what
that.
I think so too.
He also
real
had
name was
Deborah
Iggy.
Harry on the show, Blondie. Who else did they have on the
Talking
show?
Heads, I
Talking
believe.
Heads.
Floyd had
Yeah.
Harry on?
I think
Yeah.
Bon
Am I-
Jovi might have been on once.
Oh, Bon Jovi.
I don't know
Tom,
why I'm
we should
thinking
get the
also
Talking Heads.
Devo.
Possible.
I think
it's
Devo
possible.
was on too.
Could
I
be.
think Uncle Floyd was on the show once or twice.
Yep.
Can we try to get the Talking Heads on our show?
No.
Every week,
That'd be good.
every other week when I tune in, I see two talking heads. How many more do you need?
Can we get the Ramones on the show?
Are they still together?
No, they're apart in boxes.
In boxes.
We
Okay,
did
so
mention
more-
we did mention earlier that Sandy Ellers is going to be New Year's Eve
Yes.
at the Black Box PAC in Englewood,
Yep.
and the only reason I'm saying it again is
'Cause
because
Sandy Ellers
Sandy
is
is
amazing.
watching the show right
Oh,
now.
hi, Sandy.
Woohoo!
Love
Sandy
you.
knows
Sandy
us.
is watching.
Love you, Sandy. So,
Anyway, we love Sandy. Oh, there she is.
Hi, Sandy.
Yes,
You're
we love Sandy. And anybody else who joins our watching.
by the way, I
We
want
love
to
Sandy more.
give a shout out to Joe Colucci, the owner, past owner of Colucci's Restaurant,
Colucci!
long-time owner of Colucci's Restaurant, and Joe, I miss you, love you. We hope to see you again soon. I just want to mention that at Colucci's every Tuesday night when Floyd was there, I met two people that I just want to mention tonight.
Was I one of them?
You were not one of them.
You were not one of them.
I was never there, so you can't be talking about me.
No, but right after our phone call, because we have a caller on the phone that we'd like to introduce. Caller, you're on the line. Who are you? What?
Hello.
Welcome them.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, who is this?
This is Michael Townsend Wright.
Ah, Michael Townsend Wright.
Michael,
That's a long name for a short actor. That's the line I use.
So, Michael, you were involved in the Uncle Floyd show, were you not?
Yes, I was a cast member for quite some time. I was a latecomer, you might say.
Uh-huh.
I always say I'm the Curly Joe DeRita of the Uncle Floyd show.
Good
But
analogy.
1987, which is a while ago now, but it was about 13 years into the show, really.
Okay.
Wow.
But now it's been a long time I've been with Floyd. And Tom, we worked together, didn't we?
You know, I was going to bring that up. Yes, we did. I don't remember the name of the venue. It was in Clinton.
The
I believe.
Hunterdon Playhouse,
That's right.
wasn't it?
Correct.
In Hampton, New Jersey.
And how did my friend Tom perform that night?
Oh, he was great.
Thank
He
you.
was
It
great.
must have been a
Did a good job.
Tuesday night.
It was an interesting crowd, sort of a matinee older crowd.
Yeah. They're my people.
And
the baby boomers.
Row 3 fell asleep. They tell me. I don't know, but they were nice.
Yeah, they were.
Michael Townsend
a
Wright,
good
if
show.
you don't mind my saying, you have a very distinguished voice. You
Well,
have
thank you
like
very
a
much.
Townsend kind of voice. Are you related to the Peter Townsends?
No, but apparently all Townsends have some, connection from way back when.
Okay.
My 3 brothers came from Manny, Joe, and Rebel. No, not those. Three Townsend brothers came from England in the 1640s
Wow.
That's
And
where I
settled
picked up the accent from.
in Long Island, oddly enough.
Uh-huh.
But they came from there. And so it's Townsend and Townshend. They're both the same family.
Okay.
And now that I put your audience completely to sleep,
No. We did
we'll
that.
talk about other things.
We did that long
Huh?
ago, Michael.
Now,
But they're all related somehow.
wasn't that the name of the agency in Charlie's Angels?
Oh, that's good.
Yes, that's right. He was my third uncle removed 5 times. No, of course, that was a fictional character.
That's all relative.
That was John Forsythe, wasn't it? The voice of John Forsythe.
That's correct. Speaking of voices.
So, Michael, can you recount perhaps one of your favorite, hopefully funny memory of your time with Uncle Floyd?
Well, I have to tell you this. It was always more hilarious behind the scenes.
I can imagine.
And it was pretty hilarious.
Same here. We know the feeling.
But people fighting and like children. We were like children,
Uh-huh.
squabbling, like brothers squabbling all the time. And this one was mad at that one, and this was going on. But it was always hilarious and a great time. And you know something? People were amazed when we would have a guest star. Like Robert Klein said, I can't believe this. They ad-libbed this whole thing. But what would happen is Floyd would give us like a premise, like the sketches. We had our own characters, but occasionally we would do a sketch, almost like a burlesque sketch in a way.
Right.
But he would give us the premise, and he would more or less tell us what our characters would do, or we would come up with our own idea.
Uh-huh.
But it would be a premise and a finish, that's all.
Wow.
And, you would come in and do the bit. But that prepared you for anything in show business, really.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nothing scary after that.
I
And
always
so,
use that.
it was good
that
training, I
myself.
thought, in many ways.
Now, your trademark is your straw hat. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Your Facebook photo has it, and I remember you wore it the day that we performed together.
Yes, that's right. That became my trademark. You know, I thought originally Uncle Floyd has the traditional burlesque outfit in a way, a variation.
Right.
You know, loud jacket, funny hat, so forth.
Uh-huh.
They used to be the baggy pants clowns in comics in vaudeville.
Uh-huh.
I mean, in burlesque. But I thought, you know something? I'm sort of nondescript in a way. I should do something that, that's the guy with the straw hat. You see, I thought of that. You should somehow be identifiable to the audience. And also my own variation of really only Floyd and Skip Rooney and I had an actual costume in a way.
Right.
The others, of course, had costumes as their characters, but not as themselves necessarily. They were more or less dressed
And that was Looney
normally.
Skip Rooney, right?
What's that?
Looney Skip Rooney.
That's right.
Oh, Looney Skip Rooney.
Can't forget that.
As Joe Franklin would introduce him, Looney Skip Rooney, my friends, Looney Skip Rooney. He loved saying it, Joe Franklin.
Oh,
But-
nuco.
So did
Joe
David
Franklin.
Bowie ever come to one of your performances?
Did Joe come, did you say?
No, David Bowie.
Oh, David Bowie. Well, he actually came to the Bottom Line before my time, not too long before my time, but he came to see them at the Bottom Line. That's when they realized that he had been a fan, and that's when, as you mentioned before,
Yep, slip away.
they said, "How did you know about the show, David?" And he said, "John turned me onto it." And he said, John Lennon. So Lennon had actually been a fan first,
Yeah.
and he brought David in. Now, David would call Floyd occasionally. They would talk on the phone, but they would talk about the Three Stooges and things like that.
Uh-huh.
That's what they would talk about.
Now I happen to
But
share.
imagine,
I hap-
like such two friends.
I happen to share the same birthday with John Lennon, October 9th.
Oh, how about that?
Yes.
Oh,
We-
Libra.
You're much
Yes.
you're much younger, of course,
No, he's old.
than he would have been.
That's true.
But
And breathing.
I had a great time. And you know,
Hey.
it's funny. I was begging Floyd to go to the Garden State Arts Center, which is now PNC Arts Center,
Uh-huh.
when David was performing there, because he, in the act, as you said, Slip Away, when he did that song, which was actually a very ethereal, beautiful song, really.
Yeah.
But Muggsy they asked for a picture of Floyd, and Muggsy sent one of Floyd and Oogie. And it was a gigantic screen behind them because I saw it on his Unplugged special or something. It was a giant picture of Floyd, and I was begging Floyd to go there and just walk on stage in costume, and the crowd would go crazy, this local crowd here.
Uh-huh.
But he was booked, so that was the end of that. He was booked.
He's always booked.
Michael,
I know.
in the song,
he works more than anyone I've ever known.
Yeah.
in the song, they refer to Bones. Bones and Oogie.
Bones Boy.
Who's Bones?
Oh,
You
yes,
know?
Bones Boy.
Bones
All those
Boy.
puppets,
That
Mrs.
was another
Jones
puppet? Okay.
and Mr. Jones
Uh-huh.
and
How-
Tony. They were great puppets.
We've got one of
Michael.
Oogie's relatives, Squeegee, here.
I see
It's
it.
raining here,
I
so I'm
see
going
it.
to use them later to clean off the windshield.
Michael, what
I see them.
about when? Do
I
you
see
know
them both.
when Uncle Floyd started his show and first became hot?
Yes.
About what year?
Well, he started in
76.
'74. This is the 45th year. I mean, of course, it's not running anymore. But, I mean, it started 45 years ago. And I finally got him to tell me. I said, where was it? He's very evasive sometimes. But he finally told me Pompton Lakes at a little. It was actually cable, before cable was even known that well.
Yeah.
1974. Originally, it was cable. It was UA Columbia, I believe,
Right.
up in North Jersey, Pompton Lakes. And for a short time, and it started as a children's show, Uncle Floyd and his friends.
Uh-huh.
And it quickly became clear that the grown-ups were having more fun than the children and laughing hilariously. So it quickly became a, not a grown-up show exactly, but geared to, adults more.
Sure.
And children loved it too, of course. But I asked him, how long did it take to catch on? And he said, very quickly, remarkably quickly, it caught on.
Yeah. Now,
But it was at its peak probably in the late 70s. It seemed to reach its peak. It was on Channel 4 for a while, if you remember,
Yeah. Now, I was in high
and
school.
syndicated.
I was in high school the latter half of the 70s, and a lot of the people in my class and in my school, they used to love, cult following with Uncle Floyd. In fact,
Yes, it was real big.
one of the guys I was friends with in high school, who I just saw at my recent 40-year reunion, Joe Turallo.
You're old.
Hey, Joe. He used to be the local president of the Uncle Floyd fan club. And,
Yes, and Floyd remembered every name of every fan club, and he had remarkable memory of these things.
Oh yeah, I asked Floyd if he
And he would show the
remembered.
pictures on the wall and so
Yeah.
forth. You remember all that?
He remembered Joe Turallo 40 years
Hey,
later.
that's not such a big deal. I remember the name
remarkable.
of my fan.
You're one fan.
General Electric.
Yeah. So in your tenure on the Uncle Floyd show, can you recall some of the more famous guests that you had on the show?
What was that? Did you say the more famous what?
The more famous guests that you had
Oh,
on
yes.
the show.
Well, there weren't as many when I came. However, Marky Ramone came on quite a few times, and David Johansen,
Uh-huh.
and as I say, I was sort of past the heyday, which is the story of my life, I think, in a way. But I had a great time. But David Johansen came on a number of times, and Marky Ramone was in bits with us quite a bit.
Okay.
And I brought Joey Fay on because Joey and I were sketch partners for a number of years toward the end of his life.
Uh-huh.
And Floyd, I surprised him by bringing him on because Floyd loved burlesque and he loved the old burlesque comics. And Joey do you remember Joey Fay at all?
Definitely.
He did the
classic
sneeze.
comedian.
He was the Green
Sneeze.
Grapes and
The sneeze he's famous for.
in the Fruit of the Loom commercials, but he was
Oh,
he
yeah.
sneezed. And he was also Mack and Meyer. He was Meyer
Okay.
in those shows, which is before anyone's time on this panel, believe me. But he was a well-known burlesque and Broadway actor, and so I brought him on, and Floyd was thrilled with that. He always claimed that he wrote Slowly I Turned with Sidney Fields when they were both with Minsky
Really?
Wow.
in 1931.
Wow.
I don't know if this stuff is interesting to you, but it's
No, but
it
we're
is sort of-
gonna make it sound like we're fascinated.
Michael, that particular bit, though, there's probably 100 people who took credit for that. No,
I know. Well, actually, he did. He did the. He sued Universal in Society with Abbott and Costello because they did
There you go. I
a
was
variation
remembering
of
that.
Flugel Street.
Right.
They called it Bagel Street.
Bagel Street.
And
That was the Susquehanna.
Joey
Hats.
won. Joey won the case.
Susquehanna!
But what he actually did, it's interesting because no one copyrighted those bits, but Joey wrote his own versions and copyrighted them.
Oh,
So he
wow.
was pretty smart about that.
there you
Yeah.
go. He was
But
ahead of his
apparently
time.
he
You
said
know,
he
we
did
should
write
start-
Slowly I Turned with Sidney Fields.
Now, Sidney Fields, of course, was
Abbott
landlord.
Costello's landlord.
the landlord on Abbott and Costello, and he was also a writer for the Abbott and Costello show.
And Toady Fields'
That's
husband.
right.
No,
No,
Yeah.
Oh, I just
No.
thought
That's
maybe.
true.
that's
maybe.
not true.
He was
You never know.
Sid Fields.
Sally
By the way, hello,
Fields.
Bobby Bank, who says Jack Hoffman is a funny guy, which I find personally insulting because you're on a show called Funny,
Funny
Talk
Talk.
with Mongelli and Max. No mention of Jack Hoffman being.
not at all. The two funny guys are right
now,
there
Jack,
in the middle.
Jack,
They're
you
there
used
all
to
the time.
didn't you come on Floyd's his podcast
Who, me?
or his internet radio show? Jack?
I have never been. No.
No, I wasn't on
Oh, no?
Floyd's. I've been on a couple others that Paul Felice has done over on FDU.
Oh, I see. I thought maybe you had been on there because I used to call in occasionally on that
Un-
show.
until
he
the
did.
res-
So
Until the
Michael,
restraining
where
order.
do you mind if I ask where you're from originally?
I'm from the same place I am now, Cliffwood Beach, New Jersey, which is in northern Monmouth County.
So I ask because I made the comment early on. You have a very distinguished accent, even though I guess you don't have an accent. But I was thinking of the old black and white movies, how they always taught people to project you have a
Enunciate.
great speaking voice.
What?
Is what I'm saying.
Well, thank you very much. Well, on the stage, I did a lot of, and I still do, a lot of theater. And when I was a kid, you had to project. They didn't have those little mics,
Right.
those little invisible mics on your head in those days.
Uh-huh.
You had to be
I
heard
heard that back then.
from the back of the room.
All the actors had like the same instructor that taught them how to speak like they were British aristocracy.
Well, it's funny you say that because Stella Adler, who was with the Adler family, theatrical family,
Sure.
and she taught for many years, as many of
Teacher.
those actors did. And they said, Miss Adler, are you British? And she said, no, affected. So I guess maybe I'm affected too. I don't know.
It's funny. Doug
But
says he's infected.
That's showbiz. But Jersey, I'm Jersey through and through.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Am I wrong? Doesn't he sound like he has a?
It's called breeding.
No, he sounds a little bit like an old-fashioned sports announcer on the radio.
I
Tell us
think
about
great.
Babe Ruth.
no.
and all right.
I see him more like in a Thin Man movie,
He emits
calling
class.
out
Yes.
calling out to
You're-
Myrna Lloyd.
you're a class
Here,
act.
bring me my martini.
No.
please."
Tell him, make him call a baseball game.
You're a class act,
Now,
Michael.
Gary Lascota
Well, thank you, fellas.
is
And
listening
it's
in.
great to be on tonight with you.
That's because
And
it's only
in
been
this
like
tribute
10
to our old
minutes.
pal.
Michael,
Wait till the-
Michael,
yeah, Michael.
Gary Lascota is listening
Gary
in from
Lascota.
home, and he mentioned that Floyd did a show based in Newark, where the studio was in Newark.
Yes,
Is that where you were?
it was. No, I was in
You were in
Nutley
Oh,
and Woodbridge, Nutley, and
West Orange. No?
not Wyckoff, but the UA Columbia studios in not Wyckoff, but the town next to it. I can't remember what that was.
Didn't they?
That's where we did a version in the 90s, in
Was that
the
Hawthorne?
early 90s, I believe.
Didn't
the
they
last one we
broadcast
did.
out of West Orange for a while?
They were in West Orange. That's where the earliest way we know. Well, from Pompton Lakes, he went to West Orange
Right.
to the old Wametco. It was an old house on Eagle Rock Avenue in West
Okay.
Orange.
You got
And
the
that's
number
where they
of
were
that
in the
house?
heyday. But I have to tell you something a
That
little
was
fun.
Channel
Because
68
somehow I
cable.
knew, I watched it in those days. That was in the early 70s, 74, 75, and so forth. I remember watching it in those days, and I I used to think somehow, I don't know how, I'm going to end up on that show. I don't know why or how.
Wow.
But I'm
So I'm
going to
gonna
end up
ask
on
you
that
this.
show because we're all Jersey people. We all love the same stuff,
Uh-huh.
and somehow it would happen, and it did.
Michael, if you had to, well, you don't have to answer this question, but what is Uncle Floyd's secret sauce?
Secret sauce.
Yeah, what are
Secret
the
sauce?
things that he had together? He sustained a loving audience for 45 plus
what's his
years.
secret, you
What's
mean?
his secret sauce?
It's amazing. It's amazing. He's just a great performer because, and I'm not saying that because he's my old friend, but because I think he's actually better than ever. He's seasoned. He's so seasoned.
He's definitely
And when I
seasoned.
appear
and
with
he's
him in a live show, and I'm in the wings, and he wants me to come out as something, or go, I can tell just the right moment, like after a certain song. I mean, we don't know. There's no set thing at all. As Tom, as you know, we just sort of go on and do it.
Right.
But I can sense when he knows the right moment, like show business instinct.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to explain that,
awesome
but you know,
timing.
like right after that song is the perfect moment for me to come on. You know, it's sort of instinctive.
Yeah.
And,
Tom and I
a
have
real
that
show
chemistry
business,
together.
real show business,
Yeah.
and you don't see a lot of that, but sometimes you do.
Tom and I was going to say, we have that almost that identical chemistry except opposite.
Tom
I
and
always
Doug,
find the wrong time to say the wrong thing.
they are the oil and vinegar. They are the peanut butter and jelly. They are the
Mongelli.
peanut butter
Well, I have to
Mongelli.
tell you, I've been enjoying there's definite chemistry, and I've been enjoying listening in tonight.
So you got the pharmaceuticals we sent you, is what you're saying? That's we send those to all our guests. Very needed.
Well, Michael, I'm so glad you called in, and it was a pleasure talking with you again. I hope we do get to perform together again at some point.
I certainly hope so, Tom.
Yeah.
Michael,
And I
if you're
send all of you
around,
my best.
Michael, if you're around a week from Thursday, December 19th, come see Tom and Floyd at the Black Box Performing Arts Center in Englewood.
In Englewood,
Right
Englewood,
in
New Jersey.
And what?
Right?
I have a
Yep.
feeling we'll try and get you up on that stage too.
Oh,
And
I'd
don't
enjoy
be
that,
too
of course.
disappointed, but I will not be performing that night.
And I won't be there.
Well, listen, fellas, it's been great being on with you, and keep up the good work.
Thank
And
you.
I hope to see all of you soon.
Thank
And
you,
the best
Michael.
of the season
Thank you
to
so much for calling
Merry
in.
Christmas.
All
My
right.
pleasure.
You have a
Good
great
night, fellas.
holiday.
Hope to see you next week.
Okay, well, that was Michael Townsend Wright, formerly of the Uncle Floyd Show, and an all-around great
That was
entertainer.
great. That was great having him on.
Yeah,
It was a good interview. It really was. He had a
Yeah.
lot to add.
Absolutely.
And in answer to the awesome, what'd you call it? The awesome sauce? What'd you call it?
His
Awesome
secret
sauce.
His
sauce.
secret sauce.
Yeah.
Secret sauce.
I think the answer for Floyd is he's the real deal.
Yeah.
He's just a mensch. He's a regular
Well,
guy.
he's been in the business for 53 years. I think he's learned a few things.
Definitely. But he is New Jersey.
Yeah,
He is definitely one of us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, Steve Trevelise of 101.5 always, likens him to the epitome of New Jersey. I mean, you think of New Jersey, Uncle Floyd. He's New Jersey.
I'll tell you, I never think of Snooky. I do think of Uncle Floyd.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think of Snooky once in a while. We won't talk about that.
And now I'm
Let's have a
thinking of liking.
sing-along.
But anywho, the clock on the wall says we're getting close to our ending time.
Listen, we want to thank Iggy from Iggy's Curiosity Shop
That's
for
right.
coming in.
Thank you,
If
Iggy.
you want curious things, please look up Iggy's IGGIE''S Curiosity
In Midland
CUR Curiosity Shop
It is-
Shop E.
It's not an antique store.
No.
This
Well,
store
Curiosity.
is filled with ephemera.
Curiosities.
It's filled with collectibles. It's filled with your memories from when you were a kid.
There's
or growing
ephemera.
up.
There's ephemera. Wear a face mask.
They have a lot of
No,
kitschy things that are
Not just for the kitchen, the
Do
whole
they have
house.
spatulas?
Doug Max bought some things when he was there.
I bought a festive a spoon
Uncle
rack,
Festive. I loved him in the
Festiva.
Adams
bought
Family.
What was it called? Festiva?
don't stop.
And I brought a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh.
And-
I shoplifted a few things.
I saw.
But I want a picture of Groucho Marx that is not currently for sale, but I want that.
And I think in closing we should all sing a verse of On Top of Spaghetti.
No, I think we ought to
On
close
top
out
of
by singing our
spaghetti.
Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max song,
I
which
ju-
we all know.
Before we
yeah.
sing, I just
Yes.
want to
Turn to
thank.
page
I've got some
15.
special friends. Erica's been on the phone on all night. That's my daughter.
Hi, Erica.
That's
Hi,
Rocco's
Erica.
mom.
Erica!
And Mark Tenzer. We went to school together.
Who said you
50,
weren't
60
Mark
funny?
years ago.
Tenzer.
He said you weren't funny,
And
but
of
he
course,
also said you're
Gary
a star.
Lascota, who was
Gary
the king
Lastoya.
of Newark. He knows everything. He grew
Really?
up there. His father had a bar there. He still works in Newark.
Wow.
He doesn't know enough to get out of Newark.
Gary Lastoya.
But really, our show would be nothing without Mark Tenzer. We want to.
Mark Tenzer.
Tenzer, I don't even know her.
He says thank me. So we're thanking.
Okay.
Well,
I did. Now
thank
we
you,
got
Mark
them twice.
Tenzer.
And for all
Tenzer
everyone
owes
else,
me.
everyone else who watches and listens, thank you very much.
That
we
message
certainly,
is for you, Dave and Sally.
Dave and
we certainly
Sally.
don't deserve
I'm
it.
looking also. We've had over 400 people
Wow.
logging in and watching.
Really?
On my Facebook Live here. So
Is
Hello,
there,
Facebook Live
is there nothing
people.
on TV tonight?
it's reruns. It's us. We are the show.
And
Yeah.
Tom and I, we also want to send a personal, heartfelt message out to all our fans. You've been loyal and listening us to close to 2 years. Last show, we received some personal feedback from a person we highly respect, and we want you to know that we're going to make every effort in our show to incorporate those professionally based suggestions to improve our show. Basically, I think the message is we need to make our show worse.
Is that possible?
It's Tom. You need to do
difficult.
your part. She told me I was doing my part in making it bad,
Okay, I believe
but you
that.
were too good.
Oh,
You're too good.
He's
You
not
need
that
to be-
good.
You
Yeah,
need to be less
what
good.
he said.
But for the hour on air, he's good.
He's
He
almost
comes
as
up with
bad.
these witty
He
quips.
stinks. He stinks
plays
like Bill
with words.
Shoes.
I
He always
stink on
showers,
ice.
and it's a radio. They don't care.
You ever take your shoes off after running around all day? That's
When's
how
the
much
last
he
time you
stinks.
cleaned your pole, Iggy?
I don't have any poles.
Leave his poll out of this. But speaking of polls,
My grandmother was from Krakow.
Nancy's family
What-
is from Bialystok.
she's
There
from
you
a
go.
crack house.
Okay, Tom, this is the time in our show where we all speaking of polls. So you wanted to speak about a poll?
Well, yes.
Yeah,
Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac.
The holiday season is upon us, and for those of you who
Celebrate a holiday.
Festivus,
Oh, Festivus.
don't forget to
Festivus.
put up your poll and stay out of the lightning storms.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That was good. A nice ecumenical.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Don't
I have
eat before you
something
go
to
in the
say.
poll.
Iggy Aronson, thank you for coming.
I have something to say.
Thank you for
Oh,
bringing
wait.
your body of flesh, Bill.
He has something to
And
say.
have
your
something
the
to
lovely Nancy.
I have something to say. It's
Iggy
very
Aronson.
important.
What's that, Iggy?
On top
Oh.
of spaghetti.
Good night,
all
folks.
covered with cheese.
You've been watching Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max.
This
Good
week
night,
only
folks.
funny singing with
If you want
Mongelli and
spaghetti,
Max and Iggy.
Get SpaghettiOs. They stink.
On top of
Spaghetti.
all
All
covered
covered
with-
with cheese.
Doug, congratulations. We hit bottom.
Yeah.
No, there's more. We can go further.
All right, let's try
We're
it.
actually worse than we were. So anyway,
Write
thanks for
to
tuning
Jack
in.
at jirwinproductions.com for your comedy needs.
Yes, and go to Iggy's. I'm a little
And,
biased.
and we're signing off. See you next time.
And again, it's
Bye.
all about
Arrivederci.
Mark Tenzer.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Sayonara.
Peace out.